What if one of the driest places on Earth could become a breadbasket? Not a small experimental farm, not a symbolic project, but millions of acres of cultivated land carved into the Sahara Desert. From space, strange green circles now appear across Egypt's western desert, geometric signatures of irrigation systems spinning slowly over former sand seas. To some observers, they look artificial, impossible, a digital illusion imposed on nature, yet they are real. For decades, engineers, generals, and economists have quietly pursued a single audacious idea: expand Egypt beyond the Nile. Break the ancient dependency on one river, reclaim the desert. Skeptics have called it reckless. Economists have called it expensive. Environmentalists have called it dangerous. But supporters see something else: a strategic necessity. Because this isn't just about farming, it's about survival. And to understand why Egypt is turning the Sahara into farmland, we must begin with the geography that made the idea inevitable. Egypt covers more than 1 million square kilometers. Over 95% of that land is desert. Almost the entire population, now exceeding 110 million people, lives on roughly 4% of the territory, concentrated along the Nile Valley and Delta. A narrow green corridor bordered by endless sand. The Nile is not just a river. It is the country's lifeline. Every harvest, every settlement, every industry has historically depended on its seasonal rhythm. When the Aswan High Dam was completed in 1970, it transformed water control and electricity generation. It was a triumph of 20th century engineering, but it also reinforced dependence on a single artery. Meanwhile, population growth accelerated. Urban sprawl consumed fertile land. Food imports increased. Today, Egypt remains one of the world's largest wheat importers. The geography is unforgiving. The pressure is rising. Expanding into the desert was not a dream of ambition alone. It was a response to constraint. The idea of desert reclamation is not new. In the 1950s and 1960s, under President Gamal Abdel Nasser, engineers spoke of a new valley. The concept was simple in theory: divert water from Lake Nasser into the western desert and create new agricultural zones. It was ambitious. It was expensive. It moved slowly. In the 1990s, President Hosni Mubarak revived the dream with the Toshka project. Massive canals were excavated to pump water westward from Lake Nasser. Satellite images later revealed the creation of the Toshka Lakes, temporary bodies of water formed by overflow and irrigation. But progress was inconsistent. Costs rose. Global commodity prices shifted. Critics questioned long-term sustainability. Each generation returned to the desert with greater ambition. Each time, the scale expanded. What began as scattered reclamation plots evolved into national megaprojects measured in millions of acres. The dream did not disappear. It accumulated momentum. Water in the Nile Basin is not solely an Egyptian matter. Upstream nations have their own development priorities. The construction of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam introduced a new layer of uncertainty. For Egypt, whose freshwater supply depends almost entirely on the Nile, any upstream alteration carries strategic weight. This transformed desert agriculture into something larger than engineering. It became geopolitics. Food imports, too, are vulnerable to global disruptions. The 2008 food crisis and subsequent supply shocks revealed how quickly international markets can destabilize domestic economies. Desert farming, therefore, is not only about growing crops. It is about sovereignty, reducing dependence on volatile imports, expanding strategic depth, creating buffer zones of production. It wasn't just irrigation, it was insurance. In this context, turning sand into farmland becomes a matter of national resilience. And resilience often justifies extraordinary measures. Not every proposal was conventional. Some planners suggested massive desalination networks along the Mediterranean coast, powered by desert solar farms. Others envisioned pumping fossil groundwater from deep aquifers beneath the Sahara. Ancient reserves accumulated thousands of years ago. There were discussions of artificial lakes, inland seas, even climate-modifying green belts to alter local weather patterns. Technically possible? In some cases, yes. Economically sustainable? Far less certain. Fossil groundwater, once extracted, does not replenish quickly. Large-scale desalination demands enormous energy. Solar fields reduce costs, but infrastructure and storage remain complex. These proposals were not fantasies. They were feasibility studies. Yet many were scaled back, postponed, or redesigned. The ambition remained, but it became more calculated. Modern desert farming would not rely on a single dramatic intervention. It would depend on networks. Recycling, efficiency, less spectacle, more systems engineering. In the past decade, Egypt has accelerated desert expansion through projects such as the New Delta Initiative and large-scale water treatment plants in the Western Desert. Unlike earlier eras, today's efforts rely heavily on modern irrigation technology, center pivots, drip systems, soil conditioning, satellite monitoring. Agricultural drainage water is treated and reused at scale. It isn't just expansion, it is optimization. Climate change adds urgency. Rising temperatures and shifting rainfall patterns increase pressure on traditional farmland. Meanwhile, energy infrastructure, including solar installations, lowers the operational cost of pumping and desalination. Economic reforms have also reshaped the financing model. Public-private partnerships and foreign investment play growing roles. The idea that once appeared visionary now appears strategic. But modern technology does not eliminate risk. It simply manages it differently. The desert remains a frontier, and frontiers demand maintenance. The benefits are clear. Expanded farmland reduces food import dependency. It creates employment. It stimulates infrastructure development, roads, electricity grids, housing. Strategically, it diversifies agricultural geography beyond the crowded Nile corridor. But risks are equally tangible. Water consumption remains high. Even with recycling, evaporation in desert heat is severe. Over-irrigation can increase soil salinity, undermining long-term productivity. Energy demand is constant. Pumps must run daily. Maintenance is ongoing. There are ecological questions as well. Introducing large-scale agriculture alters fragile desert ecosystems. This isn't a simple success story. It is a calculation. Each acre reclaimed must justify its water, energy, and financial cost. The balance is delicate, and it must be sustained over decades, not news cycles. Some of Egypt's reclamation targets measure in the millions of acres, areas comparable to small European countries. From orbit, irrigation circles resemble patterned constellations on sand. Lake Nasser, created by the Aswan High Dam, stretches over 5,000 square kilometers, a reservoir visible from space. The canals feeding new desert farms extend for hundreds of kilometers. In engineering ambition, the scale echoes projects like the Hoover Dam, monumental, transformative, controversial. But there is a difference. A dam is a singular structure. Desert agriculture is a living system. It does not end when construction ends. Its scale is not just physical, it is operational. It must function season after season. For millennia, Egypt's identity was inseparable from the Nile, a single river sustaining civilization in an otherwise unforgiving landscape. Today, that dependency is being tested. Not abandoned, but gradually balanced against new ambitions unfolding beyond the riverbanks. The Sahara will not transform overnight. Vast deserts do not yield easily to irrigation canals, solar farms, or master-planned cities. Nor will every initiative succeed. Some agricultural zones may flourish. Others may struggle against soil salinity, water logistics, or financial strain. What we are witnessing is not a miracle. It is a national-scale experiment, an attempt to use engineering, capital, and long-term planning to soften geography's limits, to shift population pressure away from a narrow green corridor and distribute opportunity more broadly across the map. History reminds us that projects of this magnitude rarely unfold exactly as envisioned. Costs change, climate patterns evolve, political priorities shift. Yet history also shows that bold infrastructure can redefine nations. Egypt now stands at a threshold between concentration and diversification, between inherited constraints and constructed possibility. Whether the desert becomes a durable frontier or a difficult lesson remains uncertain. Only time will decide.